Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. This is book one. This was interesting. I'll give you that. All right. Trying to read some more DC books. I see this came out. I was actually worried this was going to be a Superman turns gay episode. I'm glad that's not what happened because it would be so like, what would be the purpose there? But you can't put anything past these superhero writers at this point. Anyway, we've only gotten through one of these, well, technically two of these new kinds of kryptonite. So who knows? And the rainbow one is the last one. So I'm just saying. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll go on from there. So this is book one. W. Maxwell Prince is the writer. Martín Morazzo is the artist. Chris O'Halloran on colors. I know him. And good old Neon on letters. Really? Good old Neon? That, like, did your mom name you that? Uh, Morazzo and O'Halloran are on the cover, and there's a whole bunch of variant covers out there too. Oh, and a Wes Craig foil variant cover. That's interesting. So apparently this is a DC Black label. Not too shabby. Also, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster are the creators of Superman. Yes, yes, indeed. So Superman is out looking around Krypton, and he finds four new varieties of kryptonite. Interesting because there are already four variants out there now. They actually said what they are. How did I miss them? I'm sure. There we go. So green hurts, red makes me angry, black splits my brain in two, and gold robs me of my powers. So Superman Gold is the that. Was it the black kryptonite in the third Superman movie, the one with Richard Pryor? I forget with that freaky robot thing. Excuse me. I like that he calls Batman for this. That's a very Superman thing to do. Superman's smart as hell, right? Smart as a whip. That being said, and for those of you who only saw the movie, I'd rather you go back and also look at the Christopher Donner original Superman movie if you're not just going to read a bunch of Superman books. Superman is actually way smarter than they're giving him credit for. He's ridiculously smart. He's not on the level of Lex Luthor. Essentially, only Batman technically is, right? Or close enough to it. The three smartest people in the DC universe are Lex Luthor, and then Batman, and then Mr. Terrific. In that order. So, yeah, I like that he calls up Batman. And Lex Luthor is in the background doing stuff. He's six Solomon Monday. He's six Solomon Grundy on the people, the coolest freaking zombie ever in comics. And Simon Garth is pretty cool too. Don't get me wrong, but Marvel doesn't have anything on this particular character. He's his own thing. I like that. What the heck is this guy called? Professor Pig is in here with his Dollatrons. I gotta do a explained. I did an explained in a minute on that, but that's like a minute something. I'll do a short version of that sometime soon. But anyway, I love the idea that Batman's in here helping out. He's fighting Professor Pig and having a conversation with Superman. At one point, I really thought they were gonna go with like the Pygmalion thing, which is so basic, I guess. Or where did I think they were going with this? I forget. I thought they were going someplace, and then instead they turn it around, and it's a not Finding Wilbur, Charlotte's Web. It's a Charlotte Web thing where there's the prophecy, not prophecy. There was three spider webs. I think it was the first spider web. It said some pig, so that was really cool. I like that they did that in there. Prince is pretty good. I gotta admit. Look, I am not a fan of this art in any way, shape, or form. I don't care to hear that it helps the story because I can see where that argument's coming from. But, you know, crappy art is crappy art. I am not a fan of this art whatsoever. But it tells you something about the brilliance and simple complexity, keep that in mind, for the storytelling of this comic book. Because normally I would just look at this comic book and be like, nope, don't care how good the story is. This is terrible. But I was determined to read something else DC this week besides just Aquaman. And I'm very glad I actually read this. Not the most creative story in the world, but still fun and great potential to actually do something future with this, or maybe be resolved by issue 4. You know, I don't know how many issues they're going to do of this particular comic book. But Purple Kryptonite, basically, it seems to make Superman, his perception of time, completely out of whack. Interesting. I'm not mad. You know what I'm saying? You got new versions of Kryptonite and stuff like that. Maybe all these versions of Kryptonite will form together to make Voltron and, you know, Kryptos Voltron, Voltron K, and Superman can have a final battle with him. But for now, I like the idea that this distorts his sense of time. I hope this actually does something to Superman because they're rushing this. Or are they? Maybe it's just my perception of time. It seems like they're kind of rushing, trying out these different versions of Kryptonite on him. There's so many other ways they could do this. You know, like, I mean, it's the DC universe. They can make a clone. They could take some skin cells and see what it does. If it does something dangerous, like does it immediately kill? Because if one of these things are like instant death for Superman, you know? But I love the simple complexity of this. They laid it out and they gave us exactly what this does, the Purple Kryptonite does. I like that some of the thought boxes in here, the narration style boxes, are in the proper colors that they should be. I like the way these things are happening, and it's not even just distorting space or time. It's distorting not just perspective. It's something more than that. Batman is talking as Lois Lane in Superman's perception sometimes. That's wild. Like, what exactly are we doing here, right? I'm still confused as to what exactly is happening, but the best thing about this being a time perspective thing and them continuing to go is by the time they get to the last thing, if it is something that insta-kills Superman or does something irreversible to him, if the rainbow kryptonite makes him gay, he can still go back in time with the purple kryptonite to reset everything, right? I know I'm cracking jokes about the gay thing. Sometimes just let things slide, guys. I'm not all the phobic things that some people are going to say. I'm literally just having fun. I think this book has more potential than it is good now. I would rather see a different artist on this. Maybe I'll change my mind. All right, but what I can say is that the story is so good that I still read it, despite holding my nose figuratively, not literally, while reading the comic book, looking at the pictures. Really cool story. Really a lot of fun with this. The idea, they keep going back to the idea, Lois saying, I'm in my 40s. I need to move on. You're perfect. You should find somebody who's more like you. Well, that would be Wonder Woman or incest. Ew. Ew to option 2. Anyway, I liked this. I like this. Not what I thought it was going to be, and maybe that's a good thing. I'm digging how this is going so far. That's really all I got for you guys. I would consider getting the book. I would consider at least borrowing the book from a friend who has it. After that, like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.